Hi, everybody, and thank you for coming back to Living to Do's review of Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 5, Coming Home to Roost. This is the last episode of the year, where we start off where we see Zeke turning himself in to the police station. The previous episode, they wanted him to turn himself in connection with Ramirez's death. And so he goes to the police station with Davis, meets him there with his aunt, Monet, and he is met by Jennifer Sullivan, ADA, and uh, Kamal Tate and Kevin Whitman. As they walk in, uh, Zeke and his aunt and lawyer, uh, Jennifer Sullivan tells him that he's no longer a suspect. Um, Kamal starts to tell him that there is a new suspect, but Kevin Whitman cuts him off and just says there's new developments. Obviously, they don't want him to know too much about the case. What did you feel about that?
I think that's where the episode really started to heat up a little bit. It got pretty intense. Seeing Jennifer Sullivan and Tate talk to Davis and Monet and Zeke.
Mm-hmm. In the next scene, Kamal Tate and Whitman, they're in the office together discussing the case, bringing up the PBA card that was the connection that Zeke had to Ramirez, and that made him a person of interest. And it was interesting that one day, um, after he is asked to come turn himself in, the body of Detective Ramirez was found, which they ruled out Zeke because he died before Reynolds died, so Zeke didn't pay um, Ramirez to kill. Um, Zeke didn't pay Ramirez to kill Reynolds. Though Kamal Tate, he tells Whitman about the book. There is some type of connection to um, this drug game based on Reynolds' book because his previous book was based on a true story. So they feel that what he has written so far is based on some truth, and the book is about drugs in the school. So they really believe that somebody killed him because of this information. Um, so that's really interesting. Kamal Tate is new to this is his first case, and so far he's picking up a lot of clues.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see him talk to Kevin in that manner.
Oh, with some evidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was brand new and he was like showing his authority or whatever,
Yeah,
and
but
he was just kind of like thrown off guard.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Um so in the next scene, we have Tariq and Braden. They're in I think they're in their dorm room, right? And he and Braden lied to Zeke, or no, he lied to Tariq again about Kane. Tyreek asked him directly, has Kane been around? And Braden's lying, saying he hasn't, but he has a whole nother life with Kane. And Tariq asked Braden, let me know if he comes around. Call me, text me if he comes around. So the next scene we have Monet. She's calling Carrie, and she's threatening Carrie. She says all this is her fault because she got her nephew involved with a murder case, and she threatens her that she better not, she stay away from her family, or I guess there's going to be trouble. Monet's quick to kill somebody, so she's threatening her. But now, as we see, Carrie's involved with the case. And this case has anything to do with the Tahara family, will Carrie continue, to operate with integrity? And if the evidence leads to Monet, let it lead to Monet? Or will Carrie see that the evidence is leading to Monet and that might be her head? So will she redirect the evidence somewhere else?
It's honestly a amazing way how they do the show, how they have so many different stories intertwining with
Mm-hmm.
everything that's going on.
Okay. So let's see. After that, we had oh, Kamal, Tate, and Whitman go to Carrie to have her read the book. I guess they want to know.
How like it applies to what was going on.
Yeah. So I guess she has all the information about the book. I guess you can find out also if there's anything about her in there.
Oh yeah.
If it's true to life. Um, so Dante and Monet, they, well, actually Dante, who is Mecca, or vice versa, he meets Monet at her bar. Um, that was interesting. That's her private space with her family, and she asked him to meet her there. She says she doesn't want to meet him at a hotel because she doesn't trust herself with him. I can see that. Um, he wants to get Zeke out, and he also, I guess, by money, he doesn't need to have this life or whatever. He set up trust funds for Zeke, their son, and he's also set up trust funds for her kids too. And he says all he needs is her signature. So I don't really know how trust funds go, um, but do you need someone else's signature? First of all, they're not minor children. If you want to set up a trust fund, set it up. Um, so that was interesting that he needs her signature. Also, he also mentions that they talk about she's not 16 anymore. So that leads me to believe they met when she was about 16. So, in 24 years later, what is that? Is that 40?
For yeah,
She's 40 about?
yeah,
She's
around
playing a
there.
40-year-old. So she had this, sounds like she had a baby as a minor. And at this case, at this rate, yeah, she might have had Zeke as a minor. Um, it's going to be interesting to find out more about that, the timeline of these births of all these kids that she has. Um, so the next scene we have Lauren and Tariq. They're in class, and the subject. Oh, actually, they meet right before class. Actually, where do they meet? Oh yeah, right. Was it in class?
Yeah,
It was in
then
class. They that
they
she
want.
needs an apartment. That he needs an apartment, and that's why he was late. That's why he ran out. He had spent the night over there, and he ran out of her dorm room early because of this apartment need. And he tells her this before class, and this particular class subject was about karma, and Carrie directed all her karma questions to Tariq, very obviously.
Yeah, you can see in the scene that when Carrie is like talking to Tariq, like she's kind of like interrogating him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interrogated in front of the class.
and
Eve,
everyone was like, "What's going on?" And then Lauren said something.
even Congressman Tate, he was trying
Yeah, he
to,
stepped up and he
st-
like cleared his throat and stuff. And
he
like,
tried to interject, and she was like not having it. Tariq, I want to, she was directing her question to Tariq. That was weird. I wonder if that's gonna play a part in the future episodes where Tate sees that Carrie had these karma questions to Tariq. I wonder if that's going to play a part in how she was responding to him, acting, her behavior with that question. Um, if that's going to be a telltale sign uh, later for something later down the road. Oh, it's kind of interesting.
And this episode particularly really felt like the original like show.
Oh, I like this show better.
Like I felt like Tariq was kind of like Ghost, and Braden was like kind of, I don't know, just felt, I don't know, I feel like I was watching the other Power. It was interesting.
Well, yeah, this one so far, this is my favorite power book of all of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In the next scene we have Monet. She had dropped Zeke back at college after he was no longer a suspect in the murder, and Tyreek was actually walking with Lauren. I think they were going to go look at an apartment, but um, he sees Monet, and Monet calls him over, and Lauren's like, "Who's that?" No, that's Zeke's aunt. I'm sure she wants to talk to me about tutoring and things like that. So Tariq goes off with Monet to some remote location, and she has a gun on her lap, threatening him because he lied about Ramirez's death, and she wants she's gonna spare him, uh, and she wants to know. She wants him to find some information about Kane. She wants him to find out who Kane's connect is. So that will be his job. So
I think it was funny how Tariq was getting like questioned by everyone in class, and then like he walks out with Lauren, and then Monet's there, and then like they just went off to like some weird spot, and then she was like about to shoot him, and she said, "Walk home" or something.
yeah, and that's what I'll say next. Then she has this remote location. He's away from everything, and she makes him get out the car once again. He has to make his way back.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? It's like the running joke that dropping off Tyreek and making him walk everywhere, and it's just these weird little coincidences. Like every time they're together, he has to be dropped off out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and then every time he's with Lauren, there's like a pull away. Um, but yeah, that was weird. So the next scene we have Carrie. She is talking to the cops about Reynolds' book. Did she say it was about Tariq? I think they're all very confused. Their line of where they think the evidence is leading is always changing. So they always think that they know who the characters are in the book as it relates to the kids on campus, and they're kind of switching it up because things happen and they think it's Tyreek, they think it's Braden. There's a lot of confusion about that. Sometimes they're right on track with it, but then something happens and the evidence or the motive or whatever leads them somewhere else. So they were like brainstorming on who the parties were in that scene, and they're thinking it's Braden. That some evidence shows that the character is Tariq. Later, I guess we'll find more about that. But after that, the next scene we have um, Monet meeting up with Kane. Now, she is asking Kane to get some information about Tyreek and what his weaknesses are. She feels that he has too much, she feels like he's not afraid of nothing. So she wants to find out how to hurt him to gain control of him. People do that all the time in real life. I mean, there's life lessons here. That's why you don't tell people too much of your business. They'll come around and try to use it against you. That happens every day. Um, so Lauren, the next scene, meets up with Carrie, and she doesn't want to wear the wire anymore. But Carrie is pressing her about wearing the wire, that they're close, they're going to solve the murder. It's just going to help solve the murder of Reynolds, or find out who's dealing drugs. I think Carrie throws up the name Braden to Lauren, and Lauren's like, Braden?
Like, what about Raiden?
That he was, Carrie was trying to tell Lauren that possibly it is Braden who's selling the drugs on
And
campus.
then Lauren thought he was like too like nice or something.
She
Like,
thought what?
oh, she was like, oh, it would, I don't think he'd ever do
Oh,
something
she
like that.
thought Braden was too nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice kid. He wouldn't do anything like that. No, you're off. That was her line of thinking. She tells him that I don't know if these kids know about Reynolds' book, but Carrie tells
Lauren.
Lauren that the book is about drugs on campus. Um, and so Lauren tells Carrie that she's going to tell Tariq, because they think it was Braden. But then Carrie says, no, no, don't tell Tariq. Um, don't tell him about anything. And I think what Carrie was doing, she was trying to use reverse psychology, I think, on her, letting her believe, letting Lauren believe that it was Braden was the target. And so when first of all, so she won't suspect uh, that it's
Tariq,
Tyreek,
yeah.
and so she probably won't be more involved wearing the wire and all that. She's telling her that it's Braden, to get some more information, and I guess Lauren won't feel that she's not um, being disloyal
To Tariq.
to Tariq. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
yeah. So I think
Oh,
Carrie
oh
is
yeah.
using the reverse psychology. That's what I think, and we'll
Oh,
see.
I was thinking the other way around.
Yeah, she's like, oh, don't tell Tariq anything. We think it's Braden. So, Lauren's going to go in there not apprehensive about anything because she thinks it's not her man, it's her man's friend. So, that's what I think. So, in the next scene, we have this is what I didn't get. Well, maybe some time had passed because Lauren goes to the dorm looking for Zeke. I'm sorry, looking
Look
for
for Tariq,
Tyreek.
yeah.
Tariq. And when she gets there, Braden opens the door and Kane
Is there?
is there. And Kane's so rude, calling her, hey, light skin, just saying things like that. And she's like, who are you? And he introduces himself. He's Lorenzo because
Lorenzo,
he's
yeah.
Lorenzo
Junior.
Tejada Jr.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, that was your mom that picked up Tyreek? That just picked him up? Remember they were
Oh
outside?
yeah.
And so, Kane saying, oh, so Kane knows that Lauren was just with Tyreek by her saying that. But what I don't understand is if she just got picked up, or
If
Tyreek got picked up, why did you go to his dorm room to look for
Oh,
him?
I didn't even connect that to. I don't think they were together, were they? Or
Well,
were
I don't
like
know
were
if
Kane and
time passed. Lauren is outside. They're gonna go look at the apartments. He goes off with Monet. But then we have that scene where she's at the police station. So I don't know if time passed or where she's at. No, maybe she's not at the police station. She's at Carrie's office. So she's on campus. Then she goes to Tyreek's dorm looking for Tyreek. But you just told Lorenzo your mom picked him up.
Wait, are you saying that Tariq was leaving and then Lauren went to his dorm looking for him,
You,
but then
I don't know.
she met Kane and then he was like, "Why are you here if Tariq's gone and you were?"
He didn't say anything. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking, why, Lauren? Why are you here if you just saw Tariq?
Oh, I was thinking she knows.
She don't know anything. I mean, I don't think
If
she.
she, I know, no, I'm wondering if she thinks that Tariq's up to something. So
But you
that's why
saw Tariq go with Monet.
I know, but I think that she knows about the whole thing, and that's why she went there because she didn't want Tariq to be there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. She wanted like kind of casually question Braden with the wire. Maybe. That's a good idea. That's a good theory.
And then like Kane's there, and then she's like, "Oh, like what's going on?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is all weird."
Okay, so in the next scene, Kane's over at Mecca's place. And Kane had a hard day. He looks like it. And Mecca's all, talk to me, fam. I'm like, that's foreshadowing. Is that you considering him family, or,
I don't know if he was just saying
or
it
just
or if he
saying
was
it?
like, yeah.
Yeah, we're closer than you think. um, and in talks with Mecca, um, Mecca guessed that Kane was the killer. That Kane and Tariq had something to do with it. The way that Mecca and the way that Kane is acting over there. And first of all, he could tell by the way he moves. Why are you so involved? You're this deep because you're that deep in it. You've done something to make you that deep in it. Um, so he can tell by his movements, his guilt. Um, and then this is very interesting because Cain was complaining about his mother to Mecca, and Mecca mentions Monet by name. I don't know
Yeah, I
that
don't know when Kane said to Mecca that
his mother's
is Monet.
Monet. Monet. I don't remember him ever. He
And
was
I
just
don't think that Kane realizes that he's like, how do you, like, I don't think he knows, or does he know?
Cain doesn't know that Mecca is knows his mother. But so I don't remember
No,
him.
but um didn't Kane like say like, oh wait,
So when Cain was over there and they're talking about the goings on with his mom,
uh
Mecca says, um, Mecca mentions Monet by name. He says something in Monet. He mentions her name. He didn't mention he didn't say your mother. He said he mentions her by name. And I was thinking, did we ever see him talk? I have to see if we have to go back and see if Cain ever mentioned his mother's name is Monet.
but I was thinking, didn't Kane say like he was one of the Tejadas or something, and then did Mecca say he knows Kane's dad or something like that?
Mecca said he didn't know it's Cain's dad.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, that is weird.
so that's weird. That did it just slip out of your mouth? And did Cain not catch it? Or will he think back one time? He mentioned my mom by name. Um. So in the next scene, we have Diane and Tariq. They're meeting out at night. Um, he's trying to go behind Monet's back to get some product. Diane wants to know what it's for. He's reluctant to tell her. He tells her that it's for his sister. He needs to get her sister out. He needs a lawyer. He needs an apartment. Gives her some personal information. Um, and Diane asks for a favor from Tariq. She wants Tariq to find out. Uh, First she tells that she doesn't trust Kane either. That he's the one who replaced um, the Coke that they had with sugar, and she also wants him to get some information from about Kane. She wants to know who his connect is. Um, and that's the same thing Monet asked. So they both asked Tyreek the same thing: who's Kane's connect?
Who else? Wait, say that because no. Uh, wait. Say it again. Say it again.
Okay, so when Diane meets with Tyreek,
Mm-hmm.
she's having some issues with Kane. She can't trust him. She wants Tyreek to find information about who Kane's connect is. Um, she don't trust him either. Or I think she was telling him he doesn't trust. I think Tyreek was telling Diane he doesn't trust Kane. I think she was saying I don't either. He's the one that placed
Yeah.
the Coke.
Okay.
So, but they're gonna do each other a favor. Her favor. She wants him to find information about Kane, and that's the same information that Monet asked for. Um, so, so that's gonna be interesting. Of course, I don't even know. Diane and Monet are not working together, but Nobody trusts nobody in that family.
Yeah, and they were like, it was like they were like like trading information, like they were,
Yes, and
and
so
had a big role in the story. Like,
everybody's double crossing everybody.
yeah,
Diane goes right back to her brother, Kane, and tells him about the weakness that he needs the money for his sister. Tomorrow he's having a hearing at 3 p.m. to get custody of his sister.
hmm
Um, but she didn't tell Kane that I'd also told him that you replaced the Coke with sugar. So
hmm
she's double crossing her brother. She's playing them both.
like everybody, like this whole episode, it seemed
Yeah.
like
Everybody's playing everybody. Everybody's causing confusion.
extreme confusion, but it's really
It's
entertaining
really
for sure.
entertaining. Yeah. Um. So in the next scene, Lauren uh, is talking to the cops, or they're hearing the wire. They're hearing the tape of the wire. She's not talking. They hear the wire and how she. Oh, and she's in there too because she was explaining who the parties are. They were. This was the conversation that she had with Braden and Lorenzo and at the dorm. So now they're listening to the tapes, and she's telling them who's who, and she says they're telling them who's Lorenzo. And she's, oh, that's Zeke's cousin. So the cops look up Lorenzo and find out that he is Lorenzo Tejada, whose father is in jail. So there is a connection.
I wanted to know what Carrie was thinking. Was she thinking that it was Drew before she saw the picture?
Carrie thinking it was Drew? What do you mean?
Because remember when?
Oh, wait, no, wait,
Remember
wait.
when GTG was gonna shoot Zeke, and then like that little guap dude,
Mm-hmm.
and then Drew was there, and like it was like, was it last season? I don't
Yeah, it was
recall.
last season, but
And
what
then
did Carrie have to do with it?
Carrie like has seen Drew a couple times, so I wonder if
Oh,
like Zeke told Carrie to do something to.
well, they're definitely going to make a connection because um, I think Everett talked to the cop or talked to
To
the
Carrie
to Carrie
and
and
Jabari.
yes, and mentioned Drew's cousin. I mean, yeah, mentioned Zeke's cousin Drew
Drew, yeah.
by name. So the Tejadas that are not students of the university are always on campus, and they're related to it. Their father is a guy in prison for drugs.
That's related to Zeke.
That's related to Zeke. So that doesn't really make
Uh,
Tariq a suspect if you follow that scenario.
I know, but and Carrie said she's like, "What's going on with all like?" Because everything's like,
Yeah,
like lining up and stuff.
it was getting really, really, really interesting. Next, we have Monet meeting her husband in jail, um, and she lets him know that everything's good with Zeke. Um, while she's there, he gets a phone call. I love how he's in this like maybe it's just visitation room, but I'm sure you're being watched by the cops, and he as a prisoner gets a call on a cell phone. Takes the call. You're not
Oh,
supposed to have a cell phone.
Lorenzo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's his lawyer Sachs, and Sachs wants to know if he can talk to him privately, but Monet's sitting there, which is interesting. This is his wife. Wouldn't you tell her your plans to get out of jail? So he doesn't do that. He puts the phone down and what I got. He tells her I have to take this. So she's like, dead ass, like you want me to get up and leave? And that's what he wants her to do, so he can discuss whatever his case that she knows nothing about.
I
Um.
think Diane like her and like when they were speaking Spanish in the last episode. I think they were talking about that and saying not to someone name.
Oh, yeah. Not to tell us either, because I didn't even know what they were saying. Something about family in
I don't
Spanish.
recall what it was, but I
Um.
think that had something to do with it.
So the next scene, we have Whitman, um, and Sullivan, they meet. Now, interesting fact about Whitman, and Kevin Whitman, the guy that plays Kevin Whitman, and Big Mama, uh, Tariq's grandmother, Debbie Morgan, they both are on another show called Our Kind of People. So these two actors are on other shows as well. So anyway, back to this show. Whitman meets with Sullivan, the ADA, and he gives up Lorenzo's information um, prematurely. He was asked not to. Kamal asked Whitman not to tell the ADA because they didn't have enough information on the case previously
Wait, you're
about
saying?
Lorenzo. When they got the
Oh,
name
when
Lorenzo,
Sachs.
yeah, when they heard that name on the wire,
Mm.
and Lauren told them that was Zeke's cousin, then they ran his name and found out he's connected to Lorenzo Tejada in jail, a drug kingpin. Kamal Tate and Whitman discussed it, and Whitman wanted to take it to the ADA. Kamal thought it was too premature to take it to the ADA. Not enough facts. They would, they wouldn't be able to move forward because you don't have enough information. So you wait till you have a solid case, right, or something that's going to stick. So what Whitman did, he went behind Kamal's back, met ADA Sullivan at a bar where he gave up Lorenzo's name prematurely. Um, at the same time, Sachs was coming to the bar to pick up his lady friend Jennifer Sullivan, and Sachs and Whitman looked at each other like questioning each other, like,
what's she doing?
Yeah, what's she doing with him?
Yeah.
And
with him.
and she's probably Sachs is thinking the same thing. What you doing talking? What's that about?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Sachs at this moment doesn't know that Whitman's on the case. So I'm sure he's gonna see him later and realize who he is.
What's really going
What's
on?
really going on? Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Sachs already is knowing like everything that's going on, but Kevin isn't.
Not only that, it might not work in his favor because he got that information from that file. In fact, uh, 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 Whitman gave Sullivan a file, Lorenzo file. You know how Sachs thumbs through her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if this is gonna bite him. Like, is this guy gonna think Sullivan's feeding him information at some point along the line? Maybe in I think at some point on the line. I just want to keep that in mind. They're gonna have that look meant we're gonna see each other again. So after that, there is the drop of drugs that Diane asked Kane to get for Tariq, and Kane asked for Tariq to pick up the drugs. But who picks up the drugs instead? Braden's there, and all of a sudden he's playing dumb. Kane's asked, "Where's your partner?" And he's like, "I don't know anything. I thought you were partners." He's playing dumb right now.
I think that's gonna have something to do like that. Those lines with like later on in the story.
Yeah.
But, like with different characters.
So while this is happening, Tariq is watching because he's gonna try to find out
the plug mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why Tariq really asked for the money, or for the drugs for his sister. Maybe he just said that, but maybe that was so he could follow Kane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So that's what
every scene has something to do with another scene.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Yeah. So Tariq is watching. uh, Kane give the drugs to Braden, and as Kane drives off, Tariq borrowed Lauren's car and followed Kane
Came
to
to
Mecca's.
Mecca's.
He watches Mecca go in to this door as a code, and then he decides. I was thinking to myself, there's cameras there. I didn't know what his plan was, but you're going to be seen. And right away, he was picked up by the surveillance camera, and he's met by Nuff.
Enough. Short lived.
Well, so Nuff has him in a chokehold looking in the camera, and who's watching the surveillance camera but the chef and Kane? And the chef, Mecha Chef, Mecha Chef asked Kane, "Do you know him?" Kane lied. As the boy's being beat up, he said he don't know him. And then the chef calls off the beating
Because he believes Kane's lying.
because they thought he was with the Mahonies or somebody. And he figured, I don't know how he figured he wasn't, but since he knew he wasn't with them, that the chef ordered Nuff to stop. So he left Tariq bloody on the ground outside the door, and Nuff comes in the house. So now we have.
It's a chef, it's Nuff, Kane, and Mecca. And then I believe Mecca's asking Nuff, why didn't you stop if you knew he wasn't with them or something? And then the chef says, come on, you knew he wasn't with them. He was unarmed and alone or something. And then I think like Mecca gives like the chef a look, or the chef gives Mecca a look.
They look at each other,
and then he gets a knife or whatever,
and he cuts Nuff's neck.
Yeah.
And of course, Kane sees this,
and he's like, "What is this dude doing?"
But then he asks Kane, Mecca asks Kane, "Do you know that guy?" And Mecca and Kane's lying.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know that Mecca knows he's lying because he doesn't know he was followed. Does he know he was followed? Remember that scene where
Logwop shows up?
No, the scene where Mecca was watching Kane and Braden, and
he knows that Tariq's working with Kane.
And he knows this, but we never saw that Kane saw
Mecca see that.
See Tariq. But so nevertheless, Mecca knows Tariq, and he knows that Kane knows Tariq, and he lets him off. He didn't kill him. Why didn't you kill him for lying? Because you killed Nuff for protecting you. He said Nuff talked too much for someone who was expendable. So yeah. Is Kane not expendable?
To Mecca?
To Mecca.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, Kane doesn't know Mecca knows. But Mecca knows Kane's lying. Why didn't he kill Kane? Because he means something to him.
Yeah.
Nuff knew him for years, and he talking too much. He killed him right there, because he's expendable. Apparently, Kane is not expendable to Mecca.
But then, then I'm thinking, like, why does Mecca have the chef handle Nuff or whatever?
Huh?
Or if that's the case, then why does Mecca have the chef kill Nuff and not Kane?
That's what I'm saying. He said, now Nuff, we understand, has known Kane for years. In this little incident, Nuff is working for him, doing what he wants. He's kind of like speaking up for Mecca. He doesn't need to do that with Kane. And you kill Nuff?
Yeah.
Nuff didn't do anything really wrong.
But that makes me think, like, why even take it that far if you know?
Yeah, why did you take it that far? Because he's talking, and you said he was expendable.
Yeah, that's cold.
And this guy's lying to you. You know he's lying, but you don't do nothing about it. He's not
Yeah.
expendable to you. Okay, that's just very interesting. Um, so the next scene we have Tariq. Uh, he goes to Monet's house. He's all bloodied up, and and Diane meets him outside, and Diane's holding him up,
And
trying
then
to
we
walk
see
him
Drew
in the
and
car. And then the car comes up, and who's in it?
I forgot his name.
Drew and Everett.
Everett, yeah, that's
And
his name.
Tyreek's looking back at them, and he of course Drew gets out of the car. So I don't know why that was so interesting to.
I
I
think it was
know
interesting
later, but
because Tariq is in class with Everett, isn't that the case?
yeah, I think so. And he knows Everett's gay. Does Tyreek know that?
I don't know that. But I
Well,
think like he thinks that because I think he knows that Drew's gay.
maybe. Okay. So the next scene we show Davis, and he's in a prison visiting his brother Theo, and something's going down here because it seems like Davis's brother is serving time in prison for Davis because he said um, he will do anything to keep Davis out of prison. So it seems like he doesn't
No,
mind.
I'm pretty sure Davis tells his brother like he'll do anything to get him out, and then
Yeah, he
his
told.
brother says, "I'll do anything to keep you out," or something.
Yeah, so that leads me to believe he's in prison for Davis.
Yeah.
Um, so that's going to be interesting. That will
Mhm.
unfold in the rest of the episodes. So next scene we see Tyreek. He's rushing to meet somebody about an apartment, but he's too late, and his face is all bloodied up. And she looks at him and is like, "No,
No way.
no way. You know, you're already a black kid, and you're beat up. You're bringing problems to the neighborhood, and you're a renter. No." She's like, "No, that ain't gonna work." Lauren's there. He's very that upset that he lost the apartment, but she has a solution. She takes him to her brother's apartment. He's not using it. Apparently, he's in a halfway house. I think he's in rehab. He's in a halfway house. He can't be alone for some reason. I'm sure that is going to be a storyline. So she's gonna allow Tyreek to live there with his sister, and she even has a fake lease for him to take to court to show that he has shelter for the child, and that the child can come in his custody. Um, um, and they also, and while they're there, they're talking about um, Mr. Reynolds' book while they're at the apartment, and of course,
Tariq says he knows about the storyline of the book and stuff.
so he knows there's a book. There is a
Mhm.
book, and he's telling this, and
Lauren's wearing the Rolex.
she's wearing a wire, but now she's live wired, so they hear her what they're saying in real time, and based on that statement, Kamal knows he knows about the book. That gives them probable cause to search his dorm, just like that. So and that's Kamal ordering the probe of the dorm, his dorm room. In the next scene, Kane tells Monet about Tariq's court meeting. They have a blowout, but he tells him about it's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And in this scene was interesting. They had a blowout, and in the blowout they're arguing, and Kane directs. He says something to her, and he calls her, instead of calling her mom,
Calls her
he
Monet.
calls her Monet. And I heard the showrunner saying that how the kids call their mother Monet behind her back, but in their face, they always call her mom. But I noticed that scene, Kane called her Monet.
Monet, yeah.
I wonder what that means, him calling her by name, and when they don't normally do that. Maybe that means, taking no more orders from you. You're no longer like my mom, or he doesn't respect her as a mom, maybe, I guess. Um, so we see Tariq. He's going to court, on his way to court, walking down the street, headed to court, and he's cutting it close because he has to be there at 3 o'clock. And it's like just a few minutes before 3, and a car door opens up, and it's Monet's car, and she makes Tariq get in the car.
Then
Uh,
locks it.
and she locks the car, so he can't get out, and she's mad. Uh, she's like, she knows, makes him aware. I know that you're here. You have to be here for your sister, and you're gonna feel what I feel. You put Zeke through all this, and you're gonna suffer the consequences for lying to me. You're gonna miss that court hearing. You're not gonna get your sister, and uh so Tyreek is mad. He's calm, but I like how he thinks. Family first. So what he does, he tells
Monet the
Monet.
information he got.
Well, she tell him, yeah, that that he has a name. It's Mecca, and he has an address. Um, and they're arguing, and she's telling him, I guess she says that's not enough. She goes, you know what, you're on an island by yourself because you don't know what's really going on. You do not know that Kane replaced the coke with sugar that was sold off to the distributors. You don't know that Diane stole the money from the safe, and I don't know how he knew that it was in the safe. And then
Yeah.
Drew, you don't know your son's Drew's still gay, and he's going off with the guy Everett who told the police about Zeke, right?
And GTG.
GTE. And she's like, what? You don't know Jack. You sitting there acting all tough and you know nothing. All these kids are playing you, Monet. Maybe it's time for you to step out of the game. She did not know.
Yeah.
They were ruining everything around her, not her. But that was really interesting. And so he enlightened her. So I guess with that bit of information, she let him out the car. He narrowly misses getting to the court to meet with at the hearing to get custody of his sister. So what he does when he gets there, they're in court. Grandma's in court, and he wins custody of his sister as long as he doesn't have a misstep. Because he's young, he comes up there in court, bloodied face. So she's not trusting him at all. He argues for himself. I guess he wins a soft spot in the judge's heart, and so she will allow custody as long as there is no misstep. So meanwhile, at the same time, the police are at Tyreek's dorm room searching for drugs in the dorm room. And Camille and I think somebody from the school's there and another cop. They're looking through everything. And the last final things to look through, Kamal Tate, Detective Kamal Tate, finds a badge in the room, in the drawer, in plain sight. And it's the badge of Detective Ramirez. Real quick, we see Monet meet with Mecca. And she's upset, I guess, all what she's found out about her kids, double-crossing her and lying to her and deceitfulness. And then what she complains about, she tells Mecca that she taught her kids about the life. And they're all screwed up. That's why. That life of crime and deception and drug. What? You wonder why your kids are messed up? You're messed up to think your kids should be straight. On the up and up. when they haven't seen nothing about up and up life. I'm like, what? What a stupid thing to say. Okay. All right. So we see Tyreek's heading back to school. Actually, he met with his sister for a minute and tells her, he's getting everything ready and they're going to be living together. Tyreek goes back to school. All his belongings are there. And as he goes to school, he's on the school grounds. Outside, there's a whole bunch of people, cops and students. Here comes Tariq. He walks right into an arrest.
And I don't know if Kamal was wondering this, but he just saw Tariq at that event with Rashad, and he was calling him nephew.
Yeah, that's right. So now you know your brother knows him. So what part does this play
Like,
on your brother?
Yeah.
And if your brother's crooked, will you be able to turn him in?
And was it last season? When I think it was it last season? I think it was last season when was it during Ghost? I forget when Rashad was at his brother's house.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone tried to like rob Rashad, I think. Oh yeah, this was in Ghost, and it was Andre Dre.
Mm.
And then Kamal thought something weird of Rashad.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. Taking it way back.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kamal is the good brother, and what's his name?
Camille.
Kamal's a good brother, and Congress or Councilman Tate. What's his first name?
Rashad Tate.
Rashad Tate is the bad brother. As Tariq is being arrested and walking off campus, Lauren wants to go to him, and Carrie holds back Lauren, saying, let him go. It's what he deserves. Mm-hmm. So we see Tariq, he is meeting with his conservator as his lawyer. They're meeting up, and he needs to give Tariq a letter from his father, James St. Patrick Ghost. And the conservator, the lawyer, was instructed to give this letter only to Tariq only if he was ever arrested for a homicide. Wow. Your father knew that about you?
That's wild.
In fact, and the conservator was very upset. He didn't want to have to give that letter to Tariq. But what did the letter say?
The letter from James goes to Tariq St. Patrick was, I need you to end up here alone, little nigga, right where you belong, or something.
Yeah. Which, wow. That's what you thought of your son?
And when he was reading, I was thinking, that's how Kanan used to talk to Tariq.
Oh, he did? Oh. Yeah, that relationship. Very rough.
Yeah. Like, it was like a letter from Ghost, but it sounded like Kanan was reading it. Ghost brother. 50 Cent.
You thought Kane was reading it?
No, Kanan Ghost's brother from the original Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, the way he was reading it, it sounded like it was 50 Cent, but it wasn't 50 Cent.
That wasn't his brother.
On the show.
You mean
Kanan was Ghost's brother?
No. I don't think so. I think that's no. He's no. They're from way back. They're not related.
Kanan and Ghost.
No.
Kanan and Ghost were related.
They are related?
Yeah, and like I remember Ghost was telling Tariq like about like Kanan and stuff.
I don't know.
And he was saying like not to be like Kanan or something, and then like I don't know. I just felt
no.
I don't think I understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so the next thing we have Monet. She goes home after meeting with Mecca. She's driving up in her driveway, and she gets out her car and she hears laughter in the house. She opens the door and she sees her husband, Lorenzo. He's sitting at the kitchen or the dining room table with his kids, and they're laughing, enjoying each other. And she sees this, and she doesn't look overjoyed at all.
She looks like,
She's like, oh no.
like, what is going on?
What is this? How did this happen? Why didn't I? Another thing she didn't
Why
know.
did I
Nothing.
know? And then Kane turns and looks at her.
Well, Diana looked at her funny because is she looking at her mother funny because she's the one that got her out, and it's about to be known, or is she looking at her mom like, why isn't she happy? What's going on?
That's very interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, very very interesting, and that was the last scene of Power Book 2 Ghosts episode 5. They're going to have their mid-season, that was their mid-season finale. The new episode 6, will air on January 9th. And that's it for the episode. So
I think it was the best episode of this series itself so far.
I did too. I really enjoyed it.
I was so sucked in when I was watching. I was like, I felt like I was like on set while they were like doing it.
And I felt so bad for Tariq. I wonder how he is going to get out of this jam. What legal loopholes Davis is going to come up with to get him out of jail. Will Saxe have the winning solution? Will he play a major part? You know, he was the one trying to get his mother in jail, and will he be the one to get Tariq out of jail? It's going to be I'm very, very interested.
Everything's very intertwined right now. Every character is starting to see every character.
Yes.
For the most part.
So they're taking turns in the story where I didn't think they would. Like the major one, Monet and Mecca having a baby Zeke. And she's gonna get the last.
And Lorenzo coming back, and then
Monet is gonna have the last laugh because they all don't know that Zeke is their brother. It's deception every which way. Who's gonna go off on who? How far will they go? Will somebody be killed? We got so much going on. I cannot wait for episode 6. But for now, that's all we have, and I anticipate this series continuing and being just as exciting as this last episode. But for now,
we got living to do. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
All right.
January 9th.
All right. Bye.